What's going on, guys? Welcome along to another video, and today I'm on the orange side, been at the black and now on the KTM. This is KTM's new 890 SMT. This is KTM's a parallel twin sport touring bike, new for 23. This is going to set you back £12,500. Now, looking at it, there's not really much screen and that seat doesn't look overly comfortable. So is this bike more erring on the side of sport than touring? Well, there's only one way to find that out. Let's get out on the road. So let's start us off looking at the engine in this then. This is KTM's 889cc engine, producing 105 brake horsepower and 100 Newton meters of torque. We'll see what that means in the real world riding. Doing a bit of 30. We're in street mode at the minute. Surprisingly for KTM, the throttle response is nice and gentle on that first pickup, so actually keeping it at 30 is really easy in third gear. Handling is very good. This thing does just flick. We have got nice wide handlebars which will obviously aid in that flickability. If you've ever ridden the 890 Adventure R, this is going to be a very similar platform, same engine, the same chassis. So for around town riding, this pretty minimal windscreen, should we call it, is fine. You know, 30-40 miles an hour, fine. But we'll see when we start getting around 60-70 how it fares, because at the end of the day, if a bike is a sports tourer, you can't be one or the other. You need to be able to do both categories well, in my opinion. So that means you need to be able to tour. Touring means long distance, means inevitably there's going to be some form of motorways, so you want to have a fairly decent level of protection from the wind, just so you're getting battered on any long distance riding that you're doing. The pickup throttle response on this is really good. As soon as you get on it, if you want to start overtaking or whatever, it's got that punch, it will just pull you through it. Definitely not lacking in the power department, which, let's face it, KTM, they know how to produce a punchy engine. Let's look at the electronics package on this bike then. There's a good amount on here. Start at the front, we've got LEDs all round, we've got your daytime running lights. Just coming back from that, we've got a 5-inch TFT screen. We've got 4 different rider modes. We've got rain, sport, street and track, and then you can go into those and adjust those as well, so you can adjust the traction control, the rear wheel slip. So if you want to do some Supermoto slides, I mean, just look at this thing. This thing looks like an oversized Supermoto, more I'd say than a sport tourer. So you can do those rear wheel slides. We've got anti-wheelie in here, something that, you know, you might want to turn off, because you would definitely be able to have some fun with this. You can feel the power and you can feel the anti-wheelie kicking in. As soon as you start accelerating hard, the front wheel does lift ever so slightly, and then you see the TC starting to flash and you can feel the power drop. As KTM do, there's optional extras, and they do what's called demo mode. So first of all, optional extras, we've got the quick shifter up and down, which so far it's okay, a little bit clunky going up when you got full throttle, down's all right. Cruise control, again, optional extra. For me personally, if I've designed a bike that's going to be going doing some touring, having cruise control as a optional extra, I think it's a bit cheeky. Me personally, I think it definitely should be added on as standard. Once again, it's how KTM do it. They have what you think is a good price point, and then you realise you need to add on a ton of stuff to make it good, make it where you want it, having the cruise control and the quick shifter, and half the time you need like the track mode to give you anti-wheelie, or sorry, to cancel the anti-wheelie. They know what they're doing to make money. The demo mode is when everything will be activated from the start, and then after the first 600 miles, your first service point, they'll be turned off. So as you know, it's all there. They literally just need to go onto the computer and turn it back on, and that's where you then pay for it. So they let you have everything, and then after those 600 miles you're like, oh, I couldn't possibly live without this. So then you end up paying for it. So far the seat is okay. I'm 115 kilos 6'1", so if anyone's going to test out this seat and suspension, it's going to be me. Ergonomics then, the pegs are kind of nicely situated between my hips and my knees, so that means there's only a little bit of strain on my knees, not too much. Handlebars, like I said, they're nice and wide and they're a really comfortable position, kind of nice relaxed position from the chest. I am fairly upright, and then with this wind, the wind kind of starts hitting you in line with your chin area. Honestly, I don't think I'd buy this if I wanted to do some touring. This to me is a great Sunday bike. If you want to mess about with the boys and you want to do some skids and some wheelies, a little bit more comfortable than your 690 SMC, this is where it's at. The design of this is very Supermoto style, but like I said, oversized. Just like at the front, there's two kind of mud guards. There's the one that's lower, kind of just above the wheel, and then there's the one that's higher, that's attached to the forks. So it kind of looks out of place when it's stationary and you've got the handlebars tilted to the left or right, but I suppose that's half of its charm, isn't it? Hey, line's back there. Missed it by about 2 bike lengths. Oi, oi, oi. There's some fresh air in here. The exhaust note is nothing to shout home about. It's quite tinny. That's alright. Go from the right lane all the way over to the left. You do you, mate. So 60 miles an hour, visor is closed. Like I said, the wind is hitting me pretty much at the bottom of my helmet. There is a fair amount of wind noise. Suspension feels quite hard. I'd have to get this set up for my weight. So at 6th gear, it's quite vibey. Get up to 70, 75, and it is windy. You can probably hear it over the mic. Very, very windy. Honestly, I would not want to be doing any long distance on this. Honestly, I think KTM have marketed this wrong. Yeah, bud. Come on. People like that just sit in the outside lane when there's clearly someone faster and there's somewhere for them to go, i.e. into the left, doing my nothing. What's worse is I saw her look at me. You can see her, she thought about it. She thought about it, but she thought, nah, you know what? Is KTM ain't quick enough to do my little car? Ah, little does she know. This bad boy has 105 brake horsepower. You know what, this engine is lively, I'll give you that. It's a good engine, but I ain't taking this on touring. This is a big comfortable mess about bike. It's a sit up naked is what it is. So when you put it into track mode, it changes the theme slightly. So now I've got a big gear, shows what slip I'm in. Tell you what, let's pull over and we'll have a little walk around.
Here we go then, looking around the 890 SMT. Honestly, I do think KTM have labelled this wrong. This isn't a sports tourer. This is an awesome big boy supermoto bike. I am enjoying it. I don't think it's going to be coming home with me, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the brakes on this. I think they're Zhejiang KTM brakes, something like that. 320mm discs at the front, plenty of stopping power for getting this around some twisty roads. The suspension is adjustable with the easy clickers on the top there, hopefully you can see them. So you can start to fine tune your suspension whilst you're out riding. And this is what I mean by the kind of two fenders. It's got like the rear section and a stubby bit, and then that white one that it's fixed to the forks. So when you're looking at it from the front, it kind of looks out of place. Single seat design, and once again it goes with that Supermoto look. The 890 seat height is 860mm, and actually it's not too bad. I'll show you what I'm like when we're back on the bike. I did say this is the 890 Adventure R, just dressed differently, but they have changed the position of the fuel tank slightly, and this has got a 15.8 litre tank, and what they've done is they've raised it up slightly, as you can see there, just so the centre of gravity isn't too low, and so this does flick in nicely. That once again aids in the extra handling capability of this bike. Changed my mind, I'll show you now. I'm 6'1", and I don't have both feet flat on the floor. My left one is, my right is just ever so slightly off being flat, but that's what I mean. It's a comfortable position, it's an upright naked, and that can lead to some serious fun on this bike.
This bike's flickability is definitely helped out by its weight. I believe it's 206 kilos wet, which is pretty light. Just all of it as a package, it works well together. I still don't reckon this is a sport touring bike. Prove me wrong, let me know in the comments box below. Are you going to get one of these to do touring, or are you getting one of these to mess about on? I know which one I do. Just so light, flicks really nicely from side to side, and then you get on the throttle and yeah, you get blasted by wind, but the engine is exciting, so you kind of forget it and you forgive it. This to me is like a dressed down Super Duke R, something that's more usable. So the Super Duke R is an amazing bike. It's got some flaws, but the engine is crazy. It's ridiculously fast and punchy and powerful, and at certain times and certain weather conditions it's just not usable. I think this fills that gap, fills that void. Slightly smaller engine, but you can have just as much fun. My opinion, take it, leave it, whatever. Bird of prey. Oh, two of them. Beautiful. There's still a lot of dive on that front end when you start getting on the suspension, on the brakes. A lot of dive down the front end. Would have a little play around with the suspension and see if there's anything that we could do to kind of minimise that dive. Let's say I've done an hour on this bike. So far the seat is okay. That to me would be a big issue. Any form of touring, you need a comfortable seat. Otherwise, every time you have a break and you get back on the bike, your bum's hurting straight away. Well, gents, I'm going to finish it there. That has been a quick ride and review on 2023 KTM 890 SMT. It's a solid bike for a Sunday mess about. Hey, you can do touring on any bike, we know that. If you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more, make sure you A, like the video, and B, subscribe to the channel. We got plenty of reviews on bikes coming soon. And until the next one, ride safe.